Chirida pa wakati moyo muti wangu wakamera pa ure. I see, I just have one more thing that I feel like I should let you know. Cause nakamburu this why, and I don't wanna walk that road again. I've had my heart torn apart, and maybe you can even see the marks. I don't mean to scare you away, but
Greetings. Thank you so much for tuning in and welcome to earGROUND, your voices amplifier. My name is Plot Mark and welcome to the program that gives you some of the new dope voices from Zimbabwe. And today we're speaking to an artist who is bubbling under, but I think she's one of the most promising artists. Zimbabwe should definitely look out for her. She comes from a creative family. Her mother is also an artist. So it runs in the family. Melyssa, welcome to earGROUND.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Great. Let's take it back. You getting into the arts, into music. I remember you performing at StarBrite. Was that the beginning, or it already started at home with mom and singing?
Uh, well, with StarBrite, it was more of how can I put it across? It was more of me and maybe my family just saying, and friends and people saying, you sing well, so why don't you try this out? I'd already been singing, but obviously not on a professional level because at the time I was still very young and I was also in school at the time. So I would sing maybe in school, talent shows, in the school choir, in church, at home. And, yeah, so StarBrite was then just, friends and family, people surrounding me saying, but you sing well. So, try this out.
Fast forward from StarBrite.
Mhm.
What then happened? You went quiet, you were not making music, or
Well, it's a long story. I went
okay.
through a lot of things because I think from the time I did StarBrite and now maybe there's a space of like, probably that's like over 8 years ago now, about eight
Right.
years or so. So, okay, maybe to just in brief, right
Yeah.
after StarBrite, well, like I said, I was still in school. I had to concentrate on school a little bit more.
Yes.
And you know how it is. After school, life happened.
Yes.
Um, and then I went back into music briefly and stopped again because of a whole lot of things. The industry is really not easy
Yes.
and it can be just hectic and just not friendly. So I had a lot of ups and downs with, the music and all, but well, here we are.
You never gave up despite all the ups and downs. Now you're back in music. Maybe could you tell us like what is it that keeps you going? What made you say, look, I want to continue doing music. I'm not gonna give up on my talent. What gave you that sort of encouragement? Now you're back and I don't think you're gonna leave us anytime soon.
No, I'm not leaving at all. I'm not leaving at all. Well, to be honest, there's a lot of factors that made me want to go back. But amongst those factors, I really want to um, give a big thank you to a couple of people that really motivated me into going back in the industry. I remember there's a
Right.
certain time in 2015, I bumped into John Cole. I bumped into John
Yes.
Cole after maybe 3 years or so, and then he's like, "Oh, Melyssa, where have you been? You've been quiet and everything." And I was like, "Oh, well, yeah." And then he's like, "Oh, so where's the music? What's happening? What are you doing with your talent and all of that?" And I told him, nah, I let that go. You know how when you just bump into someone randomly, and this is in town, in Harare, in town,
Yes.
you're literally going about your day. But I remember we had a very lengthy conversation that day. I think we ended up just standing there for like 20 minutes. And I think that conversation pushed me to a certain level. When I went back home, I was in a totally different headspace altogether. I remember going back home thinking to myself, you know what? I really need to start doing something. Basically, the whole conversation was John Cole was telling me how he also, goes through things with his art and his dance, and how it's not easy for anyone. And him
Yeah.
just telling me, you know what, Melyssa, I think you've got such a great voice. I think you can really make it. Just the words of encouragement, the words you want to hear. You know what I mean? And it really really put me in a different position altogether, especially hearing it, when you hear words of affirmation from just an ordinary person, or maybe your sister or your brother. It's different from
Yeah.
when you're hearing it from someone who's actually in the industry. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah. True.
So it really meant a lot to me. And from that day, I said, you know what, I'm going to do it. I started contacting a couple of people I let go of. I stopped talking to, people in the industry, people I thought could help me get to the next level, and started trying to record and all of those things. And so since that time, even when I sometimes backslide or feel like, what, I don't want to do this, I think the one thing that motivates me the most amongst anything is is words of encouragement, just encouragement from people. And I think sometimes we people kind of take kind words for granted,
Yeah.
sometimes you never know, just saying to someone well done does,
It
it
does
goes
something
a
to
long
someone.
way. Sometimes you just need that pat on the back when you're tired, and then you just get a random, person, a random compliment, just anything to motivate you. It really goes a long way, and that's what keeps me going most of the time when I feel like Danita, yeah.
Right. I've spoken to a lot of young female artists, and some of the challenges that they mentioned to me in the music industry are not necessarily linked to music. They
Yeah.
say, okay, yes, our music will be making music, but the challenges are actually the opposite sex, you know, from the producers, artists that you want to collaborate with, the fans, uh, the guy who is marketing, the journalist, like literally everybody wants a piece of you. And those layers somehow are the layers that keep a lot of us young women away from music, and at times we end up giving up on music. And for you, is it been the same experience, or it has been a different set of struggles?
And yeah, whenever you hear female artists talking about this, it's not a lie. It's what goes around. Those actual. That's just what happens. And I actually don't think it's in the music industry. It's only limited to the music industry alone. I think it's
It's everywhere.
even, yeah, it's everywhere. It's just that maybe it's more amplified when it comes to arts and showbiz, because it's showbiz, because it's entertainment. Everybody wants to know what's going on. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
then obviously it becomes more amplified. You guys, you interview artists, right,
Yeah.
to know what's going on, and these issues come up. But
Yes.
maybe if you did interviews, maybe kuma teacher, kuma doctor, kuma
You could actually be
everywhere
hearing the
else,
same cases.
I think it still happens. Yeah.
Wow, great. And you mentioned female artists, um, support amongst the girls. How has it been like for you in terms of the experience?
Well,
It's competition. Everybody wants to get the top spot, right?
I think that's the challenge with most female artists. Or maybe to be honest, I don't want anyone coming at me like, Melyssa said this or that. You know what I mean? I really don't want to be, I don't want anyone to quote me wrong.
Yeah.
So maybe I just haven't, let me say this for myself. I probably just haven't had the time, or the opportunity, rather. Let me say the opportunity, not the time. I haven't had the opportunity to connect with a lot of female artists, which
Correct.
I would really love to.
Right.
And also maybe it's just because they're not so many. You get it? They're not so many female artists as compared to the male artists, obviously. So I haven't had the opportunity to really like mix with a lot of female artists, because maybe it's also like I'm saying, Kuti, there's a relatively, smaller number of female artists. So you'll find at a certain show that I'm probably performing at, I'm probably the only female artist there, or there's only two. You know,
Okay.
those are normally the setups. But yeah, in terms of support, uh, yeah, it's I'm not too sure, to be honest. I can say that there's a number of times that I do bump into, female artists, randomly or whatever, and you probably find one or two very receptive and very, oh wow, that's amazing,
Very
you're great,
well. Yeah.
you know what I mean. So I think it's just personality traits, maybe just differs with people, but yeah.
Great. Let's take you back to your music as a solo artist.
Mhm.
How much of music have you made so far?
um when you say how much of music, I'm not
How many
sure.
tracks? How many? You haven't had an album, you said.
Yes, I haven't had an album yet, but I do have an EP. The EP has got 6 tracks. Then after the EP, which I released 2019, I only then released one single last year, which wasn't really my plan. I really wanted to be able to record more, put out more music, but because of circumstances and COVID and everything, just caught us a bit unaware. So I think to date, I could say probably I've got 7 or
Yes.
eight released tracks, and about maybe 4 tracks that haven't been released yet. And I'm still working on some new stuff.
Uh, In terms of your music, how do you describe your music? Are you a soul artist, an R&B artist, a gospel artist?
Sorry.
How do you describe your music, the music that you make? So, so I was asking there, like, how do you describe the music that you make?
Oh. Well, I am I am an R&B artist. That's the genre I am mostly comfortable in. That's the genre I write most of my music in. But however, I don't really want to limit myself at the end of the day. I also like to experiment with sound. I do a bit of Afro pop here and there, and all of that. So in as much as I'm very soulful in my music, it's very R&B. Also do expect, maybe Afro pop here and there. You never know, you might see me or hear me on a reggae track maybe in the next coming years. Or I mean, sky's the limit. When it's music, I can jump on anything really, however I feel
Yeah.
at the time. Then we can just vibe.
Oh, great. And what are you currently working on? What are we expecting? What is Melyssa cooking right now?
Right now I'm working on I don't know how to put it. Okay, I am working on some music that I was really hoping I have something for Valentine's Day. I'm not sure if we are going to be able uh to release on the what how we had projected. But I'm really working on some new music, and I'm hoping this year I get to collaborate more. Yeah, and visuals as well. That's one thing I've been, really, really, really trying to work myself to, push more in terms of the visual aspect of things.
Great. You mentioned collaborations there. You did produce with Adrian Tate, which is a dope song. I love it.
Thank
Are we expecting more collaborations, and who are you possibly working with for your next collab?
you. I might not want to give that out yet for reasons that, eh? Yeah, well, let's just say, I am really looking forward to some great collaborations this year. I
Right.
can't really say them out yet because I don't have anything concrete yet. We don't have concrete agreements yet, but we're still, you know, in the process of talking things out. But I'm possibly collaborating with ProBeat. And
With Probits?
yeah,
Awesome. Great. Great.
possibly still talking about that. And Aishan as well. Yeah.
Great. And currently, who's on your playlist? Whom are you listening to from Zimbabwe?
From Zimbabwe. I'm listening to Aishan, Bundu Pop. Yeah, that's like my everyday, you know, playlist. I listen to that every day. I'm listening to a lot of Aishan. I listen to a lot of Takura, Pro Beats as
Yes.
well. I've been listening to Victor Stores as well. Got some new stuff. Generally, I follow every time there's something new. I try to keep up with what whoever is bringing in something new. And whenever I listen to something and I like it, I shove it in there. It's now on my playlist as well. And I did listen to a bit of Jema as well, and I like it. I think I have about two of some of the tracks from her latest EP. Great sound as well, and yeah, great song with Freeman as well. I really loved the track. I
I
liked
love the
the
video. I think the
diversity,
video is
especially from
beautiful.
Freeman's side. You know, seeing him on that kind of a track, and you know what we are used to. I think it's a really dope track.
Great, great. Before we close,
Yes,
the video.
it's really great. It's so much of film, and you know, it's just a lot of artistry in one.
Your mother is a star actress. Is it something that the daughter may want to pursue at some point? Are we going to see you in front of the camera acting, or are you just gonna stick to the microphone and be the singer?
Well, actually, I've been acting for maybe 3 years now. Maybe just not on that level yet. Maybe that you would recognize me as an actress. But yeah, I've done quite a number of films. Yeah, I've been in quite a number. So it's of course music has always been what I'm very much passionate about. It's my first love. But you know how it is with art, you can't really separate most of these things because, for
Yeah,
example, if you're a musician, you will probably do some acting here and there, maybe in your own music videos and stuff like that. So you can't really separate. So in as much as I love music, I also found love in acting. I tried it once and wow, it came out great. And the next production and the next and the next. And then I ended up, you know, so I've added actress on the title.
yes. Great, great. Wow, Melyssa, it's been
Yeah.
awesome. It's been great speaking to you, and your growth is quite impressive, and also your online presence. Um, social media wise, I think it's really on a level that I hope other artists will be able to learn, because this is also what engages and captivates, your fans, your audience, especially now that we're on lockdown. It's not just the music, but also how the artist is sort of engaging with their audience. But before you go, it would be sad for you to leave without us getting even just a small snippet of one of your songs, and for the viewers to experience Melyssa's voice. But before you go, 5 years from now, where do we see you?
Years from now, wow, these kind of questions kind of, you know, scare me, but they do. But you know what? 5 years from now, we'll be talking about a totally different story in terms of building the brand is concerned. I see myself, you know, probably on the biggest stage in the country, sharing the stage with maybe the biggest artists as well. Yeah, 5 years is a long time.
Yeah.
Is a long time, but it can also be a very short time if you know not if the planning is poor. But yeah, I'm really working hard, and I'm looking forward to great things ahead.
Great, great. Well, we're looking for great things ahead. And if you could give us just a 30-second a feel and a taste of Melyssa.
Okay.
Great.
Which one should I sing now? I'm trying to think.
Okay, cool. Whatever is comfortable with you.
Okay. Baby, you should know usipo zilo gara uripa duza baby, my duza babe. You know close to me is where you belong. Gara uripa duza babe, paduza babe. You know close to me is where you belong. Paduze, featuring Adrian Tate. Check it out.
Great, great, great. Thank you so much. That is Paduza featuring Adrian Tate, a song that they dropped last year in November. It's one of the songs that has been on my playlist the longest. And thank you so much for making great music. Until next time, stay tuned to earGROUND. And thank you so much, Melyssa.
Thank you for having me.
Great, you're most welcome. So to everybody who's been watching, I've been speaking there to Melyssa, who is an amazing artist. You'd look her up. Where do people find you? I know where to find you social media, but some don't.
Okay. Yeah, so it's Melyssa ZW on all the social networks, which is MELYSSAZW. I always get people, confused with the spelling. That's actually the spelling on my ID. It's
Okay.
MELYSSA, then ZW. That's on Instagram, that's on Facebook, that's on Twitter and everywhere. And that's also how you can find my music. It's Melyssa ZW, even on all the music stores, be it Apple Music, Spotify, even YouTube. Everything is just Melyssa ZW.
Wow, great, great. Wow, thank you so much, Melyssa. I appreciate the time that you took to be on earGROUND. To everybody who's been watching, until next time, stay tuned. New Voices Amplified. I'm out.
earGROUND Radio. New voices amplified. New voices amplified. earGROUND.